Hi, welcome back to another video. And today is a very important day because today is the election day for the New York City Mayor Democratic primary, this long-awaited primary where I have made several videos on it. This election now has gained nationwide attention, and there is so much to break down. Just hours before, the polls close and we start to see what the actual results are for this election that everyone, and especially myself, have been paying attention to. And just yesterday, we finally got a new poll from Emerson College. Emerson College, a very independent polling showing that Zohran Mamdani could defeat Andrew Cuomo in the final, in the final ranked choice voting, or for the final round. As you can see, so this was this was released June 23rd, which would have been yesterday. As you can see, so this is the first round voting, I do believe. And see, Andrew Cuomo is ranging from 33%, 38%, goes down to 34, 35. And as you can see, obviously this is monthly, and we have Cuomo, Mamdani, Lander, and Adams. And you can see Mamdani's right. You can see his surge going from 1% in February. Passing Landry here and getting 10%, then 22% in May, and then 32% in June between the 18th and the 20th, just a couple days before. Where Cuomo, however, he did go up a point, but still, you can see Mamdani jumping by 10 points as Mamdani is surging in the first round voting. Now, I have constantly said I do not believe that either Andrew Cuomo or Zohran Mamdani will win in a, first round, second round, or third round. I think we're going to be seeing around 7 to 10 rounds. If it goes to 10 rounds, I will not be surprised, but I think we're probably going to be seeing 7 rounds, and either Cuomo or Mamdani are going to come out on top by 4 to 5 points here, or 3 to 4 points, I believe is more accurate. I don't think, as I said a couple months ago, as I believe that Cuomo would have just ran away with this primary, is no longer happening. Not only will he no longer run away with his primary, but he could possibly lose to Zohran Mamdani, which is absolutely insane. As I talked about in previous videos, where I was talking about how Andrew Cuomo had this primary in the bag, how he was leading by 35 to 40 points, and now his surging lead and his polling numbers absolutely collapsed. He's still, he's still here in this polling for obviously the first round. He still leads it by about 3 points, but obviously that's really concerning. As if you want to win, this primary election, you want to be leading the first round by 5 points or more. And that is not what we're seeing for Andrew Cuomo. What we are seeing is he is a very slim margin leading for the first round, and there is a very small margin now with between him and Zohran Mamdani. As you can see, obviously before in February, March, and April, and May, obviously, if Cuomo had these numbers, he'd be feeling very comfortable right now. I don't think he'd be doing interviews. I don't think he'd be doing speeches. I think he'd just be, just campaigning, doing what he does. But now that the polls are tightening, we are really seeing Cuomo doing like the same interviews Mamdani is doing. He's really trying to get out there, and he's making sure that he doesn't mess this up, right? The polling numbers that he's had, that showing that he'd win by a huge margin is no longer going to happen, and he is desperately trying to make sure that he wins this primary and is the Democratic nominee when he faces Eric Adams and Curtis Silva in November, which we still don't know if that's going to happen. There's a very good chance here that Zohran Mamdani could, win this primary. Now, I've said before in my previous videos that I believe that Andrew Cuomo is the favorite. After seeing this poll yesterday, my entire mind changed. I wanted to put a community post about it, but I knew I'd be able to explain it better in a video, and you guys are going to see why. So, as you can see here, June 18th, June 20th, Zohran Mamdani is at 32%, Andrew Cuomo is at 35%. Obviously, Mamdani is short from Cuomo, but also Cuomo is short from that 50% he needs to winning the Democratic nomination. And we also have Lander sitting at 13%, and we have Adams here at 8%. Obviously, not Eric Adams, Edrina Adams. And the thing that caught my eye was this graph right here. So as you can see on the first round, which I just showed you guys, Mamdani sits at 33%, Cuomo 36%, Lander 37%, Adams 8%, Stringer 2%, whatever, all the other candidates. And eventually as we get into like the second round here, we get Blake, Bartholomew, Prince. They're all eliminated. And we get into Ramos, Tilson, Meyer, Stringer, Adams, Lander, Andrew Cuomo, and Zohran Mamdani. Again, Cuomo and Mamdani barely move. They're both at kind of almost where they were in. Oh, I'm sorry, this one. They both barely move. They're kind of, where they are in round 1. And then we get to round 3, where obviously we see Ramos is eliminated, and we see what that does. And again, we see really Mamdani and Cuomo don't move by much, right? Cuomo's still 36. Mamdani is at 33. Then we get to round 4 when Tilson is eliminated. And again, we see Mamdani and Cuomo still barely moving. But Mamdani, moving up to 34%, and Cuomo still sitting at 36%, but inching very slowly towards 37%. And then we get to round 5 when Myri is eliminated, and we get to the final 5 being from Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, Lander, Adams, and Stringer. And still, now things are starting to move as we're getting to, the final couple of candidates here. And then we eliminate Stringer, right? And we see what that 3.8% does to this primary field here. And then we get to round 6, and now we're starting to see things really moving fast, right? Zohran Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo's margins here get really, really close. Obviously, Andrew Cuomo leading here by about 2.8%, and we have Lander really starting to pick up steam here, getting 16.2, and Adams 11 points here. But still, that is not enough for Adams, and she gets eliminated. And now we see Lander jump up to 20%. We see Cuomo go up to 40%, and we see Zohran Mamdani at 39.4. Very, very, very close. Very close. Where Cuomo's lead has now shrunk incredibly. And then we finally get rid of Lander's 20% here, and we add it to these two. Between Zohran Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo, and Lander is eliminated, and we see what that does. And what does that show us? It shows that Zohran Mamdani wins the primary, gets 51.8%, and Andrew Cuomo sits at 48.2%. And we see that Zohran Mamdani, wins the primary. There was also another pollster, another poll that came out that I was very skeptical of, and I was not trusting because it came from a Cuomo super PAC, but it also showed Cuomo winning the primary. So you had 2 pollsters coming out on the same day, where this one from Emerson College and another one that was a super PAC for the Cuomo campaign that came out. And now you guys know I don't trust pollsters like that, which is why there's been a couple pollsters from super PACs that have either supported Zohran Mamdani or Andrew Cuomo that I have not shown or promoted on my videos here because I just don't trust them. Polls like this from an independent pollster, Emerson College, are polls I trust. And it's not because Zohran Mamdani is leading it, it's because Emerson College is an independent pollster and I trust them a lot. They've been very accurate when it came down to 2022 elections, to the 2024, even when it came down in 2020, and even some off-year elections like 2023 or 2021. And I think we're seeing it this time in 2025, where, Zohran Mamdani leads Cuomo by 3 points on the 8th round and becomes the Democratic nominee. Now, I'm still very uncertain if this is going to come down to 8 rounds or 10, but my gut's telling me it's going to go down to 10, and my gut is telling me it's going to be a very competitive race within these rounds. It's going to be a very, very big night for both Zohran Mamdani and Andrew Cuomo, and we are finally going to see the big picture on who is leading here. We've seen a lot of polls going a lot of different directions, but Emerson College, I think this might be the one, and I think that Andrew Cuomo might not be the favorite anymore, as Zohran Mamdani's momentum has not been slowing down at all, and it could help him win. It could help him win. So yeah, this was the big pollster, and we will be seeing later today if it's correct, if Emerson College is correct, and if it is, I will definitely, obviously keep using it, but if it isn't, I don't know. But anyways, yeah, we will see who will win. Keep subscribed and, hit the bell to know whatever the hell happens here. But anyways, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.